Hey guys, Promo1701 here, and today I'm going to be ranking every Mega Man game that I've played from the original series and the X series, which is all of them except Command Mission. Mega Man is my gaming franchise, is my favorite gaming franchise. I love Mega Man games. I've been playing them since I was little, with my first one being the second one. So I'm going to rank them just kind of where I think they fall, ranking from S tier all the way down to F tier. Starting with the original Mega Man, it's a solid A for me. Honestly, it's knocking on the door to S. It's not quite an S, it's close. I love the first Mega Man. Now, I didn't play it until I was really in college, my early 20s, right around there, 2021. I played several others first, but this one really, I just, it's hard while still having a simplicity to it I like, if that makes sense. I love the music. I love most of the levels. I enjoyed the boss battles, the way refighting the bosses work in the castle is very different to what came later, and I enjoyed that. And beating it is probably one of my favorite gaming accomplishments because it did take me a little while to beat. Since it has no save feature, no password feature, it took me a while to actually get all the way through. It's a very difficult game in parts, and it's a solid A. Mega Man 2 is definitely S tier. This was the first Mega Man game I ever played. This is the game that got me hooked into Mega Man. I absolutely love them. My cousin had this game. I remember playing it on a very small black and white TV and just getting hooked on it. Plus, it's kind of the game that jump started Mega Man's popularity as well. Uh, it's just almost perfection. The music is wonderful. Most of the levels are fantastic. I love the Robot Masters. I love the rock paper scissors combos of beating them. I enjoy the castle to this one a lot, and it has a very very out there final battle that I really enjoy. Now the third one, also S tier. This was the first one I actually owned. I loved playing my cousin's copy of 2 so much that I got one of my uncles to buy Mega Man 3 for me. And I fell in love with it. I love the addition of the slide, the introduction of Proto Man. It has my favorite castle probably of any Mega Man game to date. Also, probably the easiest castle, which could be why I love it so much. I didn't care as much for the boards midway between the original 8 levels and the castle, where you had to refight the kind of the ghost of robots from Mega Man 2, because those levels are just ridiculously difficult. I can still get through them, but they're just a pain in the neck, ridiculously difficult. But I love the original 8 levels a lot as well, and the Robot Masters are pretty neat, and I enjoy the themes to their levels, except Gemini's band board. Gemini Man's board sucks, but most of the others I really enjoy. Still S level gameplay, and one of my favorite Mega Man games. Mega Man 4, A level, close to S level, on par with Mega Man 1. These were the 4 that I really played of the original series the most. Even though, again, I didn't play 1 till later. Mega Man 4 was the third game I ever played. I bought it brand new when it came out. Took me a while to adjust to the charge shot. I feel like level design is not done as well here. Boss battles are not done quite as well. Using the weapon, it just feels like everything that's fine tuned in 2 and 3 slipped a little here. Still really fun. I like the little twist in it. I like the second castle. I think it's a really good game, but it's not as fine tuned perfection as 2 and 3 are. 5 and 6 I mix up because I didn't play them until later. I didn't get them in, when they originally came out. I'd moved on to the Super Nintendo by then and was playing the X games at the time. I didn't, because I think 5 and 6 came out like the same year. They came out really close together. I had moved on at that point. I don't think I played 5 and 6 until probably the collection came out, the Mega Man Anniversary Collection, in like 2003 or so. And so my memory to them, they jumbles them together, especially since I didn't play them until I was older and I got both of them at the same time. I tend to mix them up. They're both solid B efforts, though. I enjoy them both. I like them more than I do average games, and that's saying a lot. They're still NES Mega Man games. I love NES Mega Man games. So they're both solid efforts for me. I think there's one I like more than the other, but again, I mix them up so I forget which is which. Mega Man 7 is a solid B level for me. It's very unique. There's no other game quite like Mega Man 7. It's I'm tempted to put it in S tier, but it doesn't quite. It's like not S tier, A tier. It really needs to be like right here between A and B tier. It really does. But we're gonna settle for B tier, I think, because I do enjoy it, just not as much. Mega Man 8 is C for me. Um, I like it. I think when I'm actually playing through it, I'm kinder to it. Just like I think with 7. I think when I'm playing through 7, it's A tier. When I'm playing through 8, I think it's B tier, if that makes sense. But I still enjoy it. It's a good Mega Man game. It just doesn't. It's not as memorable to me, and I don't. I really didn't like the choice of Mega Man's voice actor in it either. Mega Man 9 is a solid A tier, and Mega Man 10 is solid A tier. Again, I tend to mix these up a little. They kind of flow together in my mind, but they're both excellent games. 9 being extremely difficult. 9 has a crushing difficulty level, but I love them both. They're nice throwbacks to the NES days, and I tend to love that style for Mega Man. Mega Man 11 is boom F. I didn't like 11. It's the only Mega Man game on this list besides Command Mission, which I've never played. It's the only one I didn't beat because I just lost interest. Part of that could be my age. Now that I'm older, I'm not as driven as I used to be. I'm not as I can do this. I can do this. I can beat any challenge as I used to be. Part of that might be on me. The graphical style of it is fine. I don't really mind the graphics. I didn't like the gameplay. I don't like the double gear mechanic. I don't like some of the boss battles. And I really didn't like some of the level design. I stopped playing. I got a good ways into it. I beat 7 of the 8 robot masters. And the last one I was fighting is the one underwater. And I hate this one little part where, like, you're under the water, there's spikes everywhere, and there's a wheel thing turning because it's a lot of ridiculous stupidness going on at one time because you jump higher in the water, so you have to like time your jump while this thing is moving, not hitting either spikes. It's ridiculously stupid. Um, so yeah, I just did not like 11 at all. I lost all interest. If a Mega Man game in Classic or X can make me lose interest in wanting to play it, there's something wrong. And again, part of that might be me. Maybe if I had played this when I was in my teens, in my 20s, maybe even my early 30s, I would have been more driven and gotten through it. But I just have no urge to go. I own this game. I never have the desire to play it. Mega Man X is S tier. One of the greatest Mega Man games ever made. I played this. I think I got it about a year after it came out. I was in Virginia visiting family, and one of my uncles bought me and my cousin, his son, each a game. And I remember I was debating between this and Super Metroid, both two of the greatest games ever made. I went with Mega Man X because I loved the Mega Man series and I loved it. I think it's a nice evolution of the Mega Man ideas with some new stuff added in, like the capsules to upgrade your powers, the slide, being able to wall kick. I like the boss battles. I love everything about this game. The game design, the new villain, the boss battles, how the robot masters in this game, the Mavericks, I should say, in this game have like animal themes and stuff to them. I love this game. It's a perfect game. All 3 games in S tier are kind of some of my favorite video games of all time. They're just phenomenal. Mega Man X2 also S tier for the exact same reasons I listed. I felt it was a phenomenally good sequel. I don't really think there's really a lot of weak areas in it. I love the castle. I love the fortresses to X and X2. They're two of my favorite fortresses. They're a lot of fun. They got some good boss battles, maybe one or two generic boss battles, but still good boss battles. X1 does have a couple generic boss battles in there. Still good, but boss battles. I like the subplot with the super robots to rebuild Zero. I like the multiple endings concerning Zero. I think the boards are designed really well. Some of the boss fights are really fun and intuitive. It's a really, really solid game. X3. Hmm. I'm gonna say B. It's not when I'm playing it. It might be A. I'm gonna say B. It's a step down. Uh, Zero is practically useless. I don't use Zero at all. It has some nice ways that the game can alter, like getting Zero Saber, getting the chip to turn you gold, and some of the sub boss battles are a bit of a pain. It just doesn't quite again have the flawless execution 1 and 2 do. It just seems like a step back. It's still good, and I like it. It's got a good soundtrack. I like both versions of this, by the way, the Super Nintendo version and the like PS1 Saturn version, whatever it was. I've played both. I enjoyed both. It just feels like a step down. X4 was a step back up. It's definitely A tier, knocking on the door. Like it's banging on the door to get in here while not being quite as good. I love playing as X and Zero. I love getting the ultimate armor. Zero, though, is my preferred way to play. It's the only time uh, in that generation where I think the X series hits this high. I love this. It's easily my favorite game post X1 and 2. It's really, really good. A lot of fun. I like the music. Again, the level design is mostly good. There's some confusing, odd stuff going on sometimes, like with Iris, like, but I enjoy it overall. It's really, really fun. X, 5, and 6. Again, I mix up. I really like I like one of them more than the other. I can't remember which is which. I'm trying to remember which one of these has the countdown, the random countdown where you have to fire the blast or crash the. So these two again I mix. I actually played X6 before I played X5. I went back and got X5 later. But they don't do a lot for me. I'm going to put both of them in E because, again, they tend to run together in my mind. One of them, when I'm playing it, I'm kinder towards. It might bump up into C or D. The other one is just kind of a slog to get through while still being fun. I don't mind going back and replaying it. It can be annoying. X7 was a solid D for me. I didn't mind X7. I didn't play it. I didn't play either of the PS2 ones until the X collection came out, the newer one, the Legacy collection, like 3 or 4 years ago. Was the first time I played X7, and I found it very underrated. I liked it. I liked the new game plus. Uh, it still doesn't bump up to average for me, but I liked it well enough. Same thing with 8. 8's about the same for me. Um, I'm not sure which one I prefer over the other, actually. They're not as memorable, and they don't quite hit that sweet spot of Mega Man for me. But they were still fun playthroughs. I did multiple New Game Plus playthroughs at the time. Although if I went back and played them now, I'd probably have to relearn the whole game, which would be frustrating. But I enjoyed them well enough. They certainly didn't belong down here with these. And that's how I would rank all of the Mega Man games, with 2, 3, X, and X2 being 4 of my favorite video games of all time. If you ask me what my favorite Mega Man game is, it's literally a 4-way tie. That's how I knew these would be in S tier and only these would be in S tier, because it's a 4-way tie between them. I can never pick. I love them all. Some solid efforts in A tier, being just a little, just a little below these top 4, with 1, 4, 9, 10, and X4 being A tier. Solid above average stories in 5, 6, 7, and X3. I find 8 very average, but if I'm playing it, it probably bumps it up a place, with just a few being under average and one being just atrociously bad. At least that's how I feel about it. I want to know what you think of this list and how you would rank these Mega Man titles. Comment down below and let me know. Don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button as well, and to check out my main channel, Another Sci-Fi Guy, where I talk about all things Doctor Who and other sci-fi properties. I also have a Patreon if you would like to check that out. There should be a link to that down in the description as well. Most importantly, thank you for watching.